At first, she was everything I ever wanted. Caring, protective, almost too perfect to be real. But then she started isolating me, one person at a time, even my mom. "She's manipulating you," she'd whisper. And I believed her. Until one day, I stumbled onto the truth. That's when I realized I was never in control of my own life. My name is Marcus, and this is the story of how I almost lost everything that mattered to me because of someone I thought I could trust with. My life, it started 6 months ago when I met Scarlett at a coffee shop downtown. I was having one of those days where everything seemed to go wrong. Spilled coffee on my shirt, missed an important work call, and was running late for everything. Then she appeared. Scarlett walked up to my table with this warm smile and offered me her napkin. "Rough morning?" she asked, and something about her voice just calmed me instantly. She had these piercing green eyes and auburn hair that caught the sunlight perfectly. We talked for 2 hours straight. She listened to everything. My work stress, my complicated relationship with my family, my dreams of starting my own business. Most people would have gotten bored, but Scarlett hung on every word like I was the most fascinating person she'd ever met. "You deserve so much better than what you're getting, Marcus," she said as we exchanged numbers. "Someone needs to take care of you for once." I thought I'd found my soulmate. The first month with Scarlett was like living in a fairy tale. She'd show up at my apartment with homemade meals, send me sweet texts throughout the day, and somehow always knew exactly what to say when I felt down. She'd massage my shoulders after long work days and tell me how proud she was of me. "You work so hard, baby. You don't need all that stress from other people bringing you down." When I mentioned my weekly dinner with my mom, Margaret, Scarlett's expression changed for just a split second. But then she smiled and said, "That's sweet. I can't wait to meet her." But there was something in her tone that didn't match her words. I should have paid attention to that red flag, but I was too blinded by how perfect everything else seemed. Scarlett would surprise me with my favorite food, remember every little detail I mentioned, and made me feel like I was the center of her universe. Who wouldn't want that kind of attention? The first sign that something was wrong came during our second month together. My best friend Jake called to invite me to his birthday party, something we'd done every year for the past decade. "Who was that?" Scarlett asked when I hung up. "Just Jake. He's having a party this weekend and—" "Jake?" Her voice got sharp. "The same Jake who was hitting on me at the bar last week when you went to the bathroom." I was confused. "What? Jake wasn't hitting on you, he was just being friendly." Scarlett's eyes filled with tears. "Marcus, I didn't want to say anything because I know he's your friend, but he made me really uncomfortable. He kept asking for my number and saying things about how lucky you were." My heart sank. Jake had been my best friend since college. But why would Scarlett lie about something like that? "Maybe you misunderstood," I started. "Are you calling me a liar?" Scarlett's voice broke. "I can't believe you'd take his side over mine. I thought you cared about me." I immediately felt guilty. Here was this amazing woman who did everything for me, and I was questioning her word. "No, baby, I'm sorry. I believe you. I never would have expected that from Jake." "Some people show their true colors when they think no one's watching," she whispered, wiping her tears. I didn't go to Jake's party that weekend. It was the first of many events I'd miss. Over the next few weeks, Scarlett had a problem with everyone. In my life, my co-worker David, who sometimes joined me for lunch. "He's just using you to get ahead at work, Marcus. Haven't you noticed he only talks to you when he needs something?" My neighbor, Mrs. Chen, who I'd help with groceries. "She's taking advantage of your kindness. You work hard all week and she expects you to be her personal assistant." Even my barber, Tony, who I'd been going to for 3 years. "Did you see how he was looking at me when I came to pick you up? Some men have no respect for relationships. Each time." Scarlett would present her concerns with such genuine worry that I found myself agreeing with her. She'd say things like, "I just don't want to see you get hurt, baby. You're too trusting, too good for your own good." And slowly, without realizing it, I started distancing myself from everyone who had been important to me. "The worst part," Scarlett would comfort me afterward, "I know it's hard losing friends, but now you can focus on what really matters. Us. I'll never let you down like they did. The breaking point came when Scarlett set her sights on my mum. Margaret had raised me as a single mother after my dad left when I was 8. She worked 2 jobs to put me through college and was still the first person I called when anything good or bad happened in my life. Our weekly dinners were sacred to me. But Scarlett started making comments, small ones at first. "Your mum seems like controlling," she'd say after I'd get off the phone with Margaret. "The way she asks about every detail of your life isn't normal, Marcus." "She's just interested in what I'm doing," I'd defend. "Interested or possessive?" Scarlett would counter. "Healthy mothers let their adult children live their own lives." Then came the bigger accusations. "I've been thinking about what you told me about your childhood," Scarlett said one evening, "about how your mom would get upset when you had sleepovers or wanted to hang out with friends after school. That's emotional manipulation, baby. I'd never seen it that way before. My mom had always been protective, but I thought it was because she cared. And the way she guilt trips you now," Scarlett continued, "making you feel bad if you can't come to dinner or if you're too busy with work. That's not love, Marcus. That's control." Scarlett's campaign against my mother became more sophisticated. She'd accidentally schedule romantic dates during our weekly dinners. "Oh, I forgot that was tonight. But I already made these reservations, and they're non-refundable." She'd get emotional when I chose to see my mom instead of her. "I just feel like I'm not a priority in your life. Your mother will always come first, won't she?" The guilt was overwhelming. Then came the night that changed everything. I was getting ready to leave for dinner with Margaret when Scarlett broke down crying. "She hates me, Marcus," she sobbed. "Your mother hates me, and she's trying to turn you against me." "What are you talking about?" "The way she looks at me when you're not paying attention, the comments she makes. Last week she asked if I was good enough for her son. She's poisoning your mind against me." I was shocked. My mum had never said anything negative about Scarlett to me. "And the questions she asks about our relationship," Scarlett continued. "It's like she's looking for problems. She wants us to break up, Marcus. She can't stand that someone else loves you." That night, I called my mom and told her I needed some space. "Space?" Margaret's voice cracked over the phone. "Marcus, what's wrong? Did I do something?" "It's just, I think you've been a little too involved in my life lately, Mom. I'm 32 years old. I need to focus on my relationship with Scarlett." The silence on the other end of the line broke my heart. I just love you, son. I didn't realize I was being too much." "I know, Mom, I love you too. I just need some time." I hung up feeling like I'd been punched in the stomach, but Scarlett held me close and whispered, "You did the right thing, baby. Sometimes we have to make hard choices to protect our happiness." With my mom out of the picture, I was completely isolated. Scarlett had systematically removed every important person from my life, and I'd helped her do it. But instead of feeling free, I felt empty. My weekends, which used to be filled with friends and family, now revolved entirely around Scarlett. We'd stay in her apartment, watch movies she chose, eat at restaurants she picked. "Isn't this nice?" she'd say, curled up against me on the couch. "Just us. No drama, no people trying to cause problems. This is how relationships should be." I nodded, but something felt wrong. I missed my mum. I missed Jake. I missed having people in my life who knew me before Scarlett. When I mentioned this to her, Scarlett's response was immediate and tearful. "Are you saying I'm not enough for you, after everything I've done, after choosing you over everyone else in my life?" It was true. Scarlett didn't seem to have friends or family either. She'd told me her parents were toxic, and her friends were fake. I thought it was just coincidence that we'd both ended up with difficult people in our lives. Now I realize it should have been another red flag. With no one left to interfere with our relationship, Scarlett's behavior became more controlling. She wanted to know where I was every minute of the day. If I was 5 minutes late coming home from work, she'd call in a panic. "I was so worried something happened to you. Why didn't you text me?" She'd go through my phone, playfully, checking my messages and call history. "I'm not snooping, baby. I just love being close to you. Couples shouldn't have secrets." She started making decisions for me. What I should wear, what I should eat, even what TV shows I should watch. "You have such terrible taste in entertainment," she'd laugh, changing the channel. Let me educate you on what's actually good. When I got a promotion at work, instead of celebrating, Scarlett seemed upset. More responsibility means more stress, she said, and more time away from me. Are you sure this is what you want? I was starting to feel like I couldn't make any decisions without her approval. But whenever I tried to assert myself, she'd become emotional and make me feel guilty for pushing her away. The incident that started my awakening happened on a Tuesday evening. I was working late on a project when my phone rang. It was a number I didn't recognize. "Marcus, it's Jake," my heart stopped. I hadn't talked to Jake in months. "Jake, how did you get this number?" "I got a new phone and managed to track down your work number. Marcus, we need to talk. Something's not right." I looked around nervously as if Scarlett could hear the conversation from her apartment across town. "I can't talk right now." "Your mom is in the hospital," Jake interrupted. Everything went cold. "What?" "She had a heart attack yesterday. She's stable now, but Marcus, she's been asking for you. She doesn't understand why you won't return her calls." I felt like I was drowning. "Calls? What calls?" "She's been trying to reach you for weeks. She's worried sick. She thinks you hate her." After Jake hung up, I checked my phone. No missed calls from my mom. No voicemails. Nothing. But when I checked my blocked numbers list, a list I didn't remember creating, there was my mom's number, and Jake's, and David's, and Mrs. Chen's. My hands were shaking as I realized what had happened. Someone had been systematically blocking everyone from my life. Someone who had access to my phone. Someone I trusted completely. I drove to the hospital in a daze. My mum looked so small in that hospital bed, older than I remembered. When she saw me, she started crying. "Marcus, oh my baby, I've been so worried. I thought you never wanted to see me again." I held her hand, fighting back my own tears. "Mom, I'm so sorry I never got your calls. I didn't know you were trying to reach me. But I called every day. I left voicemails." That's when I knew for certain. Scarlett hadn't just blocked the numbers, she'd been deleting voicemails, erasing any trace of people trying to contact me. I spent the night at the hospital, and for the first time in months I felt like myself again. My mom and I talked for hours, and I realized how much I'd missed her wisdom, her laugh, her unconditional love. "Son," she said finally, "I don't know what's been going on, but this girl, she's not good for you. The way she looked at me, the things she said when you weren't around, I was afraid to tell you because I thought you'd choose her over me." "What did she say?" "She told me that you were embarrassed by me, that you thought I was too clingy and you wished I'd give you space. She said you asked her to tell me to stop calling so much." My blood ran cold. I had never said anything like that, ever. Over the next few days, while my mom recovered, I started putting pieces together. I called Jake and apologized, explaining what had happened. His response shocked me. "Dude, Scarlett never said I hit on her. In fact, she was the one who came onto me that night. When I rejected her, she got really angry. I was going to tell you, but then you stopped talking to me." I felt sick. I reached out to David, my co-worker. Same story. Scarlett had approached him after work one day and made inappropriate comments. When he brushed her off, she apparently decided to turn me against him. Even Mrs. Chen had a story. "That girlfriend of yours came to my door one day when you weren't home. She told me to stop bothering you with my problems. She was very rude, very aggressive. Every person Scarlett had turned me against had the same experience. She had been inappropriate with them, and when they rejected her advances or stood up to her, she eliminated them from my life. But why? What was her endgame? The answer came when I decided to do something I'd never done before. I looked up Scarlett online. What I found made my blood run cold. Scarlett Martinez wasn't even her real name. Her real name was Sandra Mitchell, and she had a history. 3 different men in 3 different cities had restraining orders against her. All of them told similar stories. She'd sweep into their lives, isolate them from friends and family, and then things would escalate. One man, Trevor from Phoenix, had blogged about his experience. She didn't just want to control my social life. She wanted to control everything. My finances, my career, even my thoughts. When I finally tried to leave, she threatened to kill herself. Then she threatened to kill me. Another victim, Robert from Dallas, had posted on a support forum. She convinced me to quit my job and move in with her. Then she slowly took over my bank accounts, saying she was helping me manage my money. By the time I realized what was happening, she'd stolen $30,000 and disappeared. The pattern was always the same: isolation, control, financial, manipulation. And then when the victim finally caught on, she'd vanish and move on to the next target. But this time was different. This time she'd been with me for 6 months, longer than any of her previous relationships. I was her most successful project yet, and now I understood why. I had a good job, savings, a house that was almost paid off. I was the perfect mark. Decided to confront Scarlett, but I was smart about it. I recorded our conversation and had Jake waiting outside as backup. When I walked into her apartment that evening, she greeted me with her usual perfect smile. "Baby, how was work?" I made. "Your favorite dinner." I sat down across from her, my heart pounding. "We need to talk." Her smile faltered slightly. "About what?" "About Sandra Mitchell." The change in her demeanor was instantaneous. The warm, loving expression disappeared, replaced by something cold and calculating. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Phoenix, Dallas, Trevor and Robert." Should I continue? For a moment we just stared at each other. Then, to my complete shock, she started laughing. "You're smarter than the others," she said, dropping all pretense. "Most of them never figured it out." "So it's true, all of it?" "Oh, Marcus, sweet, naive Marcus." She leaned back in her chair, completely relaxed now. "Did you really think someone like me would fall for someone like you just because of your sparkling personality?" The words hit like physical blows. "You're not particularly attractive, you're not funny, and you're certainly not interesting. But you are stable, you have money, you have assets, and most importantly, you're weak." "Why are you telling me this?" "Because you already know, and because I'm done here anyway." She stood up and walked to her bedroom. "I've been transferring money from your accounts for months. You should probably check your savings balance." My hands were shaking as I pulled up my banking app on my phone. My savings account, which had contained $42,000 6 months ago, now showed a balance of $800. My retirement account had been completely emptied. "How?" I whispered. "You gave me access to everything, remember? When I said I wanted to help you organize your finances. You signed all those papers without reading them. Joint accounts, power of attorney. I've been planning this for months." I felt like I was going to throw up. The isolation, the manipulation, that was all just to keep you distracted while I cleaned you out. And it worked perfectly. You were so busy feeling guilty about your controlling mother and your fake friends that you never noticed what was happening right under your nose. She came back from the bedroom with a suitcase, already packed. "Where are you going?" "Seattle. I've already found my next project. His name is William, and he's even more gullible than you are." She paused at the door. "Don't try to follow me, Marcus. I have documentation that shows you were abusive during our relationship. One call to the police, and you'll be the one in handcuffs." "But none of that is true." "Doesn't matter. It's my word against yours, and I'm very good at playing the victim." She smiled that same sweet smile that had captivated me 6 months ago. "Thanks for the nest egg, baby. Try not to be so stupid next time." And then she was gone. The next few months were the hardest of my life. I had to file for bankruptcy. I lost my house. I had to move in with my mom while I tried to rebuild my life from scratch. The police couldn't help. Scarlett had been too smart, too careful. Everything she'd done was technically legal since I'd signed the papers giving her access to my accounts. But something good came out of all of this. My relationship with my mom grew stronger than ever. She never once said, "I told you so." She just held me while I cried and helped me figure out how to move forward. I reconnected with Jake, who welcomed me back like I'd never left. We all make mistakes, man. The important thing is that you got out. I started seeing a therapist who specialized in manipulation and emotional abuse. She helped me understand how someone like Scarlett could have such complete control over my life. Predators like her are experts at finding people's vulnerabilities, Dr. Williams explained. They love bomb you at the beginning to create dependency, then slowly isolate you from your support system. By the time you realize what's happening, you're completely under their control. It took me a year to feel like myself again. to trust my own judgment, to stop looking over my shoulder, waiting for the other shoe to drop. But I survived. And more importantly, I learned. If you're watching this and something feels familiar, please listen to me. Love shouldn't isolate you. Real love encourages your other relationships. It doesn't ask you to choose between your partner and everyone else who cares about you. Trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, it probably is. And if someone is trying to turn you against, the people who love you most, ask yourself why. What do they gain from having you all to herself? I got my life back, but it took years. I'm sharing this story because I want to save someone else from going through what I did. Your friends and family aren't perfect, but if someone who claims to love you is systematically turning you against all of them, that's not love, that's control, and you deserve so much better. My name is Marcus and I'm a survivor. If you are too, or if you think you might be in a situation like this, please reach out for help. You're not alone, and it's not your fault, but you can get out. I'm proof of that. Thank you for listening to my story.